The buyouts and market manipulation continues, and it leaves me wondering, is Temporal Forces going to be the next evolving skies? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. You're watching the channel Dr.Applesauce 2. My name's Will. It's another beautiful day here in Texas. I hope you guys know that I love you, God loves you, that there is an awesome plan for your life. Temporal Forces is doing some really weird things, and I want to talk about there are more buyouts and more market manipulation happening with the Pokemon cards in Temporal Forces, but there are some things that are kind of out of balance that if you know what to look for, you'll actually see those. This is a really strange situation, and it's got me really looking at Temporal Forces and wondering if Temporal Forces is going to be the next evolving skies. And the reason I wonder that is because the last time I saw this many buyouts, this many crazy prices skyrocketing left and right, was Evolving Skies. Now, the two sets aren't exactly equal. I always think Evolving Skies is going to be way more expensive and way better than Temporal Forces. But for the current Scarlet and Violet Black, what we have right now, could Temporal Forces be the next Evolving Skies? Because it is continually having cards that are being bought out and the market manipulated, and it's very obvious if you know what to look for. Let me know what you think. Do you think Temporal Forces is being manipulated, and do you think it could be the Evolving Skies of the Scarlet and Violet era? Okay, let's take a look over here at TCG Player. The first thing that we're going to see, if we just put in Temporal Forces and take a look at all the stuff on Temporal Forces, you'll see that all of a sudden, we have a Morty's Conviction that's popped up here with listings from $80 with a market price of $56.67, which on the surface doesn't look that bad. The listing price of $80 is very odd, but if we click into the Morty's Conviction, you will actually see that there are only a few listings. There's only a handful of listings, so I don't think the main TCG Player page has updated yet. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 listings. The cheapest one is $125. And I think you'll see very interesting that we have one specific seller that has the vast majority of what's available for Morty's Conviction for sale. $125. Now, here's what's interesting is I was just at Collecticon this past weekend, and I was looking to buy Morty's Convictions they were selling for about $30 to $40. This was like 4 days ago, guys. This was like 4 days ago. So when you see something like this, I want to dive in real quick. Let's go over here and look. We got the 1 month trend, okay? Pretty consistent around 45, took a dip, and then we see a pretty consistent trend up until just a few days ago. We see a rocket up in the market value. And what we want to look at is, let's go over here and let's look at the latest sales. And I'm going to show you something that's really sus, as the kids say these days. If we go down, we can look at all the sales. So let's get all the way through. Okay, so you can see 49.45, 49.45, 49.37. Let's look at 410. Okay, this is what we want to look right here. It's April 10th, just a few days ago, April 10th. April 10th, 37, 45, 38. If you go and you take a look, you'll see on April 10th, every single copy of this card that was $40, $50 and under was bought up on April 10th. Look, all this is April 10th sales. This is a huge sell-through rate for this card. All of this on April 10th. Every single card that was $50 and under was sold on April 10th. And then boom, all of a sudden we get a couple listed at around 70, and then boom, right the next day, right here, $120, $99, $89, $89, $89, and like literally right after all of the cards that were 50 and under were bought out right after another. There's one thing that I wish TCG Player would allow us to do. I wish we could see who's buying all of these. Like if you look on eBay and stuff and someone's trying to attempt to do a buyout on eBay, it doesn't really work as much with Pokemon cards because we have like TCG Player that really tracks our aggregate data, but with other collectibles, you can see if a buyout is happening on eBay, and you can track if it's the same person or persons buying all of these cards. So what we see here is a massive buyout of the Morty's Conviction SAR, and then all of a sudden a couple listings listing at high, 89, 99, 120 bucks, and then our actual sales, I'm sorry, not listings, but sales, and these are the sales that I always find suspicious, right? This is why I want to be able to see who's buying these cards, because it's just wild. $120 the day after they were selling for 40 bucks. The normal person doesn't do that. And then what happens is you see a very low market supply. There's only 5 on the market. Why do you think there's only 5 on the market? Because they all got bought out. Because they all got bought out and are being sent to this one specific person or few specific people that bought them out, which I don't know, maybe it's this solo YGO person. I don't know. They have the most on the market. I'm really not sure, but we're going to see all of these pop back up on TCG Player because somebody bought them all out, making the market value, it's a little skewed right now with the listed median price is $149 with a market price of $56. And the reason I bring this up is because this happened in Temporal Forces. We saw this happen earlier with Iron Crown EX. You can see right here on Iron Crown EX, we didn't have, it was a pretty low, and then all of a sudden a massive spike, because this exact same thing happened with Iron Crown EX. Now, the little bit of data I said that makes this seem skewed, right? Okay, so look, you've got multiple cards in the set that are being pushed and sold for $90 to $100, okay? That isn't really abnormal in and of itself, except for when you look at the fact that Temporal Forces Booster Pack's market value is under $3. Under $3. Guys, that is less than distribution cost for a booster pack. The booster pack price for Temporal Forces is literally less than it costs for stores to actually buy it before they even sell it to you and me. So when you have a price on your packs that's that low, it doesn't make sense that specific cards would be so high. The two don't equate. Maybe if the market value on a Temporal Forces booster pack was like $5 or $6, that would be a little more palatable. But with the price of the booster packs having tanked so much, and then only few specific cards that it's very obvious the entire purchasing buyouts are being done, skyrocketing in value, you see a very strange disparity there and something that's very odd. And it's really obvious to me that this set specifically is being targeted for some type of market manipulation on these singles. Will these have an overall effect on the sealed product down the line? I'm not sure, but there is confirmation from plenty of people in the local game store sphere that own card shops that show that Temporal Forces production was scaled back. Now, that doesn't mean there won't be potential reprints in the future. That doesn't really have any effect on how much Temporal Forces went out to big box stores. But as far as LGSs are concerned, it's been confirmed that the Temporal Forces print run was scaled back. So that who knows what that means for the future. But when I say, does this potentially mean Temporal Forces is going to be the next Evolving Skies, I bring that up because I haven't seen buyouts and crazy attempted manipulation like this since Evolving Skies. When Evolving Skies came out, it was just dead in the water for a good long while on the sealed product. Does that sound familiar so far with Temporal Forces? You could have just bought it for MSRP, or, Evolving Skies for MSRP for a good while, and then all of a sudden, the prices started skyrocketing because the alt art prices started skyrocketing because of, assumed and alleged buyouts on some of these specific cards. A lot of people talk about the Moonbryon not really being worth $700. It's really wild how expensive the Moonbryon is when there's like, oh my gosh, 20,000 versions copied at PSA. There is an astronomical amount of Moonbryons graded at PSA, not copied at PSA, sorry, graded at PSA. And it really makes you wonder with that set as well, why things are so high. Obviously, Evolving Skies does have the nostalgia bomb behind it with all of the evolutions, and it was one of the first, Sword and Shield sets to really bang us and bring us that beautiful, beautiful alt art card. So that makes sense there. That's why I say that Evolving Skies is always going to be a little bit higher. But the reason I compare the two is because I haven't seen this happen with Scarlet and Violet yet. I haven't really seen this happen that drastically since Evolving Skies. You can go over here and look at Evolving Skies booster boxes. Market value on a booster box is about $676, but the listed median price for a booster box is $929. And then additionally, we're talking about market manipulation. It's still currently happening with the Umbreon V. Umbreon V just saw a huge buyout. This is just something that I was looking at. I've seen people talking about this, right? You see this huge spike right here. You can go to view more data and you can see that, if we go back a little bit, Umbreon V was doing pretty average. Look right here, pretty average around 90 to 100 to 120 bucks on average. And then all of a sudden, somebody scoops all of them up, 4.4, 4.6, 4.7. We got all these sales happening. And then boom, all of a sudden, we're up to $175. We got one crazy outlier sale for $247, $181. You see these massive spikes and you wonder, who's doing this and who's causing this to happen. And this is just an example with Evolving Skies of how it's still happening and how it probably will happen. And to be honest with you, there's really not anything that we as consumers can do, except not buy the cards, but there's always going to be somebody out there that just wants the card and wants to buy it. As far as the Morty's Conviction, let's go back over to the Morty's Conviction. The lowest listed price is $124. That's absolutely insane. And you can actually go over to eBay and see that this is, you know, being reflected on eBay too. There's Morty's Convictions that are up for auctions, last I looked, that were, you know, having bids on them. They're already up to $50, $60, which again blows my mind, because like I said, I was at Collecticon in Houston just 4 days ago, and you could find these Morty's Conviction SARs there for 40, 50 bucks. And then this happens, and then it skyrockets, and it's something to keep your eye on as a collector, and as somebody that makes content. I find it very interesting, and it lets me know, you know, to pay attention to Temporal Forces, because I don't think it's a bad set. It has some cool cards. The hit rates are so tough. The hit rates are really tough. And then we have new cards that are coming in with the new rotation that are going to actually be relevant from Temporal Forces. So there's a lot in this set to pay attention to. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think Temporal Forces is going to be the next Evolving Skies, or Evolving Skies of the Scarlet and Violet block? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, give it a thumbs up. It's free for you to do that. It helps the channel so much. You can subscribe. You can hit that notification bell. YouTube will tell you when new videos come out. And if you like this video, YouTube says that you'll probably like that one too. So go watch it. And as I always say, my friends, find somebody to love and serve today. Be the change you want to see in the world. See you next time.